Have you ever wondered why, sometimes, despite your best efforts, your thoughts seem to lead you astray? This question, though perplexing, is not uncommon. We all encounter moments when our minds, the very tools we rely on for decision-making and problem-solving, seem to betray us. This paradoxical phenomenon is often due to what we call thinking errors. Thinking errors, also known as cognitive distortions or cognitive biases, are systematic deviations from rational judgment. They're like optical illusions, but for the mind. Just as our eyes may trick us into seeing something that isn't there, our brains can similarly mislead us, distorting our perceptions and interpretations of reality. Now, don't be alarmed. These thinking errors are not a sign of weakness or a lack of intelligence. Rather, they are an inherent part of human cognition, remnants of our evolutionary past that once served to protect us. In our modern, complex world, however, these mental shortcuts can sometimes lead us astray. Throughout this video, we'll explore 3 common thinking errors that most of us fall prey to from time to time: confirmation bias, the gambler's fallacy, and the spotlight effect. Confirmation bias, the tendency to favor information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs, can blind us to alternative viewpoints and lock us in echo chambers. Then there's the gambler's fallacy, the belief that past events influence future outcomes in random sequences, a misconception often seen in casinos. Lastly, we'll discuss the spotlight effect, the tendency to overestimate how much others notice about us, which can lead to unnecessary anxiety and self-consciousness. By understanding these thinking errors, we can better navigate our mental landscapes, becoming more aware of the pitfalls and traps that lie in wait. We can learn to question our assumptions, challenge our perceptions, and ultimately cultivate a more accurate understanding of ourselves and the world around us. So buckle up and prepare for a journey into the fascinating world of our own minds. It's time to delve deeper into these mental traps and understand why they occur. Imagine you strongly believe in a particular idea. Would you not naturally gravitate towards information that supports this belief? This is the essence of confirmation bias, a common but often overlooked error in our thinking pattern. It's like having blinkers on a horse, limiting our view to only what's in front of us, information that confirms what we already believe. Confirmation bias is the brain's sneaky little way of making us feel comfortable in our beliefs. It's our tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs or hypotheses. It's like our mind has a built-in yes man, always agreeing with us and steering us towards information that supports our views while conveniently ignoring anything to the contrary. This mental shortcut, while seemingly harmless, can lead to false conclusions and skewed perceptions. Let's say you believe that all swans are white. You might dismiss a black swan as a fluke or an exception, rather than considering that your initial belief might be flawed. This tendency doesn't just apply to swans or trivial beliefs. It can impact important areas of our lives, such as our health, relationships, and even our political views. If you're convinced that a certain diet is the best, you might ignore research that suggests otherwise. If you believe that your partner is perfect, you might overlook their faults. If you're certain that your political party is the best, you might dismiss valid criticisms. The danger of confirmation bias lies in its subtlety. It's like a silent puppeteer, pulling our strings without us realizing it. It can lead us to make decisions based on incomplete or inaccurate information and prevent us from seeing the full picture. So the next time you find yourself nodding along to information that fits neatly into your belief system, take a moment to question it. Are you accepting it because it's true or because it confirms what you already believe? Watch out for this bias, as it can lead you to overlook important information. Scene script: have you ever thought, "I've lost so many times, I'm due for a win while gambling"? Welcome to the world of the gambler's fallacy, a trap for the mind that so many of us unwittingly fall into. This fallacy, also known as the Monte Carlo fallacy, is the belief that past events can somehow influence future events when, in reality, they are completely independent. Let's delve a little deeper into this intriguing thought error. Imagine flipping a coin. Each flip is an independent event, meaning that the outcome of the previous flip has no bearing on the outcome of the next. Whether the coin landed heads or tails 10 times in a row, the odds for the 11th flip remain the same, 50-50. Yet if we've seen tails appear 10 times, we're tempted to believe that heads is due. This is the essence of the gambler's fallacy. We mistakenly believe that past events can predict future outcomes. This fallacy is not confined to gambling alone. It permeates many aspects of our lives, leading us to make irrational decisions based on unfounded beliefs. Take weather predictions, for example. If it's been sunny for several days, we might think it's bound to rain soon. But in reality, each day's weather is independent of the last, and a streak of sunny days does not necessarily mean rain is on the horizon. The gambler's fallacy is a powerful and deceptive error in thinking. It's a cognitive bias that can lead us to make decisions based on a flawed understanding of probability and randomness. We may feel that we're playing the odds, but in reality, we're falling prey to a fallacy that can lead us down a path of irrational decisions and potential losses. So next time you find yourself thinking, "I'm due for a win," or "it's bound to rain," pause and remember the gambler's fallacy. Remember, past events do not predict future outcomes in random sequences. Ever felt like all eyes are on you when you make a mistake? If you have, you're not alone. This sensation is known as the spotlight effect. You see, our minds have a peculiar knack for exaggerating our importance in the grand scheme of things, making us believe that we're the center of attention when in reality, we're just another face in the crowd. The spotlight effect is essentially our tendency to overestimate how much others notice about us. It's like standing on a stage, basking in the spotlight, while the audience scrutinizes our every move. But here's the twist. That audience, those people you think are watching your every move, they're more than likely embroiled in their own performances, too wrapped up in their own spotlights to pay much attention to yours. This cognitive bias can lead to unnecessary anxiety and self-consciousness. It's what makes you cringe when you recall that time you tripped in public or when you wore the wrong attire to a party. In your mind, these incidents were monumental, but ask someone else who was there, and they probably won't even remember. That's the spotlight effect in action. It's important to understand that this hyper-awareness of our actions and appearance isn't always a bad thing. It can push us to prepare thoroughly, to strive to be our best selves. But it's equally important to remember that everyone else is not as focused on us as we might imagine. They have their own lives, concerns, and yes, their own spotlights to contend with. So don't let the spotlight effect make you its puppet, dictating your actions and causing you undue stress. Use it as a tool for self-improvement, but don't let it morph into a source of anxiety. Remember, we're all just players on life's stage, each of us wrestling with our own spotlight. Next time you feel the spotlight on you, remember others are too busy with their own lives to notice. We've journeyed through the labyrinth of our minds, uncovering some of the common traps that our thoughts can fall into. We've ventured into the depths of our cognitive processes and unearthed some fascinating insights. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've discovered. First, we tackled the confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out and interpret information in a way that confirms our pre-existing beliefs and ideas. It's like wearing tinted glasses, altering the color of everything we see to match our expectations. This bias can blind us to alternative perspectives, limiting our understanding and skewing our decisions. Next, we delved into the gambler's fallacy, the erroneous belief that if something happens more frequently than normal during a certain period, it's less likely to happen in the future. This fallacy tricks us into seeing patterns where none exist, leading us to make decisions based on illusionary trends. It's like expecting a coin to land on heads because it landed on tails 3 times in a row, even though each flip is independent of the last. Lastly, we examined the spotlight effect, the phenomenon where we overestimate how much others notice about us. We believe we're the center of attention, when in reality everyone else is too caught up in their own lives to scrutinize ours. This effect can cause unnecessary stress and self-consciousness, hampering our social interactions and overall well-being. Each of these thinking errors play a significant role in shaping our perceptions and guiding our actions. They're like invisible puppet masters, subtly manipulating our thoughts and decisions without us even realizing. However, The good news is that by being aware of these biases, we can start to challenge them. We can begin to question our automatic thoughts, consider alternative viewpoints, and make more informed decisions. Awareness is the first step towards overcoming these thinking errors. So the next time you find your thoughts leading you astray, pause, reflect, and question. After all, the mind is a tricky thing.